I'm going with it.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we're calling to order the meeting, Delaware Water Gap, for the month of March. We will begin with public comments with regards to anything on our agenda tonight. Does anyone have any comments on agenda items? No. Yes, Mr. Snow.
Under old business, how much depth are you gonna go into the firehouse renovations grant?
I will go into depth as to all the details that we know to date.
Because I have some questions. Maybe you might answer them when you go.
You will probably answer whatever we know about the situation should be answered when I do the presentation. If you have any questions now, because I'm not taking any questions about that during that presentation, afterwards, only from council and mayor. So, you
How do I know
should,
what to ask them?
okay, here's the thing. You should have point by point details of the situation as it stands. And then we have on the agenda a motion for a special meeting. So
Okay.
I don't think there's any questions that you would have that I could just answer for you without giving you the whole details. I will give you all the details that we know to date.
Okay.
Yes, I've stumped Tim Snow.
No, I'm trying to think like,
And
you
there's
know.
no official action that's going to be taken.
No official action.
No, but I was at Smithfield Township last week and I totally lost sight of the radios. They brought the radios up. What are we doing with the radios? Don't they need them?
We don't have that on the agenda tonight.
I get that, but,
I had that in my report.
okay,
Okay.
okay.
Any other questions related to agenda items? Yes, Mr. Snow.
I asked for the report from the fire departments for the,
Okay,
We'll
so
be able to
with
get them?
regards to the fire department report, there was a statement to me that they weren't comfortable with that. So what I will ask you to do
then I'll do it right tonight.
is to go to the meeting and get the report from them.
I can't
You can't, what?
go to the meetings.
Why?
We're not allowed.
Yes, you are.
No, we're not.
We have talked,
Okay,
we have discussed this.
Here's what, answer to your question, Mr. Snow. Get the report from the fire company, because I do not want to be in charge of their documents or their
I will do it right
reports.
to know through the borough, because you get the same thing.
Could you try going to the meeting and getting it from them?
I am not allowed
I'm
to go to
asking
their
you do
meetings.
that. Okay. Any other questions?
Can I just, Lisa, can I just say something to that real quick?
Yes,
I'll be
please.
quick. That is not necessarily true. Public is allowed to come to the beginning of the meeting, and if you have any questions, you can ask it there before our meeting starts. And you can bring up about that if you'd like to discuss that. They're more than welcome to come before the meeting and discuss it. Our meeting starts at 7 o'clock, and then we ask that they leave before our meeting starts. So you do have
Right.
time to come to our meeting and
So
ask
we're not
questions.
included in the meeting.
Not the meeting itself, but you can come to before the meeting.
So what's the reluctance? Brad used to come here and report the 3 accounts. What's the reluctance?
We give it to the borough, and you can come to the meeting and ask the fire department that.
I'm gonna get
It's
it.
not just me, I am one person.
I'm gonna do it right now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions with regards to agenda-related items?
I'm doing it right now, yeah.
No questions. Okay, so now we were gonna go forward and have the treasurer's report. Motion to approve the treasurer's report and pay the bills.
I can move to, on the treasurer's report.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Treasurer's report approved. Motion to ratify the vote to purchase a tire, which we have for the F-550 in the amount of $410.
I'll make that motion to purchase a tire for the support 550.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion to approve the minute meetings, regular minute meetings of February 5th.
I'll make that motion to approve the meeting minutes for February 5th.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Who
No
seconded it?
opposed?
Ian, was it Ian that seconded it, or was it Charlie?
Charlie seconded it.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
I'm behind this computer, so. Thank you. Pay better attention.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
We'll have the superintendent's report.
Okay, not too much around town. Been clearing up branches, keeping drains cleared, that kind of thing. As for the maintenance of the vehicles, the 350, I tested the battery, it was bad. We had starting issues with that. I replaced it with a new battery. And that has been washed and cleaned, just needs to be waxed and polished. 550, we got the new, or the repaired exhaust reinstalled. The hydraulic system, we refilled and put a new filter on. That's been fresh washed, waxed and polished, all greased, and the new tire was installed. Backhoe, we installed the second battery, and I fixed some bad wiring connections I found along the way, and that's been waxed and greased. Just some things coming up. I don't, it's been brought up, the stop sign down by the bicycle pump. That's gonna be repaired. Lake Lenape, there's some washouts along the pathway, so those will be filled. Christmas lights will be coming down shortly. And I think that's all I got for right now.
Thank you very much. Any questions for the superintendent, council? If not, we'll now hear the mayor's report.
Okay, the only thing I really have, this is of course the 6/11 closure. Congressman Cartwright's been making sure that we have monthly meetings to talk about the closure and basically to keep PennDOT and the National Park Service working together, not letting any time go by. So there has been some forward momentum. I even got some unofficial word today that both parties are working together to pare down their expectations to get the work started. And you know, there was a date that was thrown out that there could be a single lane opening. I don't want to say that date because every time I say something's gonna happen, it changes. So, but it looks like that sometime this summer we may have a single lane opening at least. It doesn't mean that the road will be fixed or they won't still be working on the mountain or periodic closures, but it does sound promising that we have a single lane opening. And that's about all I have.
Thank you, Mayor. We have a police report, the chief is not here. We'll go on to the fire department report. Councilman Ike.
The fire department responded to 6 calls for service, 1 brush fire, 1 structure fire, 3 medical calls, and 1 MVA with injuries. We are reapplying for the regional radio grant. We are in with 5 other departments for radios. That's what we've been working on. It's through the AFG. It is with Stroud Township, Blue Ridge, Jackson Township, West End, us, and there was 1 other department, I'm not sure. I just finished sending him all the call volume and everything he needed to apply again this year. We've been turned down for the last 3 years for that, so we're trying again.
I just have a question. How many of the fire departments you just mentioned would get the grant? Just one of them?
All of us.
Oh, all
And
of you.
It's one big grant and everybody gets, you're only allowed so many radios. That would give us 10 portables.
Oh, okay, okay.
And that covers 100% of the cost?
Yes. Well, there's a little bit that we have to put in, but as a fire department,
Well, that's a hell of a lot better than what Shawnee was saying, or Smithfield Township was saying.
yeah.
Because as it is now, it's a third, a third, and a third. A third
Yeah.
for the fire department, a third for the community, and a third from the county.
The county, yes.
You still include the police department?
Yes. Two mobiles for them. Yeah. With 2 mobiles for the police department are added in there.
That's of the 10?
Portables, not mobiles, portables.
Yeah.
So that's 10 plus 2 or 10 altogether?
10 altogether.
Altogether,
That's all
okay.
we're allowed to get. You're only allowed so many per seat per truck.
And you have to pay the 1/3 as well, like Smithfield, or no?
No, not for the grant.
Oh,
We already paid the grant writer,
oh, good.
and,
And
so
when,
if there is a portion that needs to be paid, it'll be split between the 5 of us.
oh, that's
It's
good.
like $1 million grant. That's what we're trying to get, instead of having to pay a third, and a third. The command unit already has 2 new radios, so they do not have to be replaced. We did that when we bought it.
When is 911 up and ready to actually use the radios?
They're nowhere near ready, could be a couple years yet.
Okay.
But you guys need the radios now?
No,
Oh,
No,
we're
but if they
trying
can
to-
get the
Trying
grant.
trying to get, no, I understand,
Yeah.
trying to get them now. I
trying
understand.
to plan ahead so we're not behind the 8 ball again.
I got that, I got that.
We appreciate that.
I'm trying.
Emergency management report, Nelson?
Okay, so for the emergency management report, I was here Tuesday with Samantha Elliott from the county. She's their planner, and we worked on the hazard mitigation plan for 2025. That has all been submitted with the help from Allison, thank you. And I talked to Walt Conway on it too for the floodplain. So that is all done. I went to training again Wednesday night, and we had a class on MGT 347, which is Incident Command System Forms. I had to fill them out and everything. Did pass that, and as soon as I get a cert, I will forward it to Allison. I did just give her my emergency coordinator basic, which is the step up from the old one, and I'm working on the professional. And now that the hazard mitigation is done, I can go back to the town plan.
Bless you.
Thank you.
You can go back to the,
Town plan, working on the town plan.
yes, yeah, I was gonna ask you about our, updating our plan, okay. Is that it, sir?
That is all.
Thank you. Now before we have the engineer's report, I wanna move up a motion to appoint the engineering firm T&M Associates due to a merger that occurred between them and LB Merger. We would still have our Misty, which is pretty much good enough for me, if I was negotiating that merger, as long as we have Misty. I'm like, okay, cool with me. Would anyone like to put that motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Can I recommend the amendment to that motion, just to say that at the same
Oh,
rates as
Yes,
our
excellent.
current, just to make sure
Thank
it's clear.
thank you. So that motion has been made and second to appoint engineering firm T&M Associates as our engineer due to a merger at the same rate of billing. Thank you.
Do we have a you had a first and a second, yeah?
Yeah, yes, we did. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. So now we can have the engineer's report.
Well, thank you for that appointment. I just have 2 items. The first one is the RAISE grant for the sidewalk along Main Street was submitted on February 28th. And the RO grant, electronic speed limit signs, that PennDOT permit was finally issued on February 14th. So that can move forward.
Thank you, and thank the mayor for working so hard on that. It took him a while.
The agenda to purchase.
I put it on the agenda, I didn't put it on to purchase, but, I put electronic speed limit signs under old business.
Okay,
Does that have
just
to be a motion to purchase them? When we receive the
Well, I
grants?
think the way the grants, if I'm not mistaken, so we purchase and they reimburse. That's not how it works.
Yes,
Is that a reimbursement?
Probably
Is
is
our-
a good start.
Earl probably is.
But we,
It probably should be a motion, but it's
on
on
the
the,
agenda.
it's on the agenda, you're fine.
yeah, it's on the agenda, so
Okay.
it'll just be a motion.
Just
So
check.
we'll just, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Does he just, I'm assuming that if you have new contact information?
I do. I have cards, but unfortunately my name is spelled wrong. So I'm not sure how beneficial that is.
Good way to get started.
They bought $1,000,
But I
How do
can
you
give,
misspell Missy?
Allison one, or whomever wants one, I mean, the phone number's on there.
You have the
Yeah,
same,
I have 2 items that I need to talk to you about, so.
Okay, yeah.
you have the
we
same
grab-
email,
What's that?
same email?
It's the same, well, my last name is part of my email.
Oh.
So, I mean,
So
if
don't go
you
by the
know how to
card.
correctly spell it, figure it
You know how
out.
to correctly
It will not get to her.
But-
That's crazy.
Thank you.
Thanks, Missy.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Lizzie.
There is no middle N. That's the, if you look at my last name, that N in the middle of it should not be there. That's all it is.
Just scratch it out like you.
Yeah.
It's my real number.
But you have my phone number now, so that's.
Yes. So, is that it for your report?
That's it.
Thank you so much. Zoning officer Mike Manter did provide a report for you all. He's not here. Solicitor's report.
The one thing that's not on here that I wanted to bring up was that there did seem to be, there were emails that were sent, I don't think Allison was copied on it either. They went to Todd instead of me, so they made their way to me slowly, about joining Stroudsburg and East Stroudsburg boroughs, the building code of appeals. They seem to be willing to allow us to join that intergovernmental agreement, so I will follow up with them this week. And if you are having a special meeting, we can more broadly advertise that in case we need to just approve the intergovernmental agreement, and I can forward that to everybody. But I need to confirm with Stroudsburg and East Stroudsburg solicitors.
Okay. Thank you. Is that it, ma'am?
Yeah, that's the only, I think everything else comes up on something else.
Okay, we're gonna go on to new business. Discussion motion to have the old generator by well house 4 removed.
If I may,
Derek?
Yes.
we are the reason this came on the docket today, on the agenda today. We live at 168 Maple Avenue. We just bought the property there. And the Delaware Gap Water uses our driveway to go down to the watershed. And when we bought the property, there was a lot of junk in our backyard that we've been slowly getting through, having junk people come in, scrappers and so forth, take stuff out. And in this process, we discovered the generator, and I didn't know who it belonged to, so I wanted to make sure that we weren't doing anything with somebody else's property. So I had called, but whatever the reason, I was only, got a call back today. I know that one of the junk men who came to our property to remove some stuff, which he got some pretty good stuff, by the way. Anyway, he had sent in an email to see if he could have that generator. It's fine, I don't really want it, you know, I could have scrapped it if you guys didn't claim it, or, but it's okay, as long as it's going away, I'm okay with that.
Okay, well, one moment.
Yeah.
Councilman,
Yes.
the generator is actually on the borough's property. Let me let council member on
Oh,
spot speak to
it's,
that.
it's, there, I'm sorry, and your house is, you bought it from Justin?
Our
You-
house,
Jimmy
Hilger.
Jimmy Hill, okay, I know where you live now. So, you're correct, the driveway down to the well house, I believe is your property. And then there's a parcel of land down there that the borough owns, and that's where the well house sits.
No, it's sitting on our driveway.
No, yeah, so what I'm saying is the driveway that goes down to the well house is yours. And then down there where the well house is, there's a square parcel of property that the well house sits on that's owned by the borough. So you're right, the generator is either on your driveway or on the borough property, or it's real close.
Right.
What we wanna do is basically get rid of it. So we went down there today, we took a look at it, and then I drove over to Alpha Recycling over in Stroudsburg. That's where that's the one place right off of Route 80 where you have all these junk cars. So, what we're looking at doing is removing that generator. It sits on a trailer chassis, the tires look good, and we're looking at removing it and just taking it over there.
That's awesome.
Just get rid of it. And we did, quite frankly, I thought it was owned by somebody else. I kept driving by it a million times, like, oh, it's owned by a contractor. And until I asked some questions to other council people, it's like, no, that transaction never happened. We own it. Absolutely. I mean, it's not used. It used to be the old generator that was down there. That's been replaced by a new one years and years ago. So our intent is to get rid of that right now.
Okay, but while we're talking about, the different property lines, it's kind of strange the way the property lines go.
It is,
right?
yeah.
You know, it kind of goes up the hill, like our driveway comes down, goes around this way, but then it goes up the hill this way, and then it goes straight across and back. It's all jagged. I just want you to know that there is a trailer, that's on wheels, that is if I'm not mistaken,
I saw that
Google
today.
Maps,
I saw that, where all the stuff is.
It's just inside your property line.
Yeah, that's where all the, like, right, basically behind your house in the.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that
There's a
trailer.
shed back there, and the snow dilapidated it, and there was junk everywhere, and I'm getting rid of it all because I want green space back there. I want the earth
Yeah,
to
that's
be
great.
healthy back there.
Yeah,
Anyway, so.
and I think that's all your property, I believe.
I think it's on the borough's property.
Okay,
I'm not trying to split hairs with you guys
No,
or
that's
anything
fine.
like that.
Yeah.
I just want
Neither
to
are
be
we.
aware, since you are already making arrangements, and if it is there, I mean, I'm trying to get rid of things.
you mean that trailer that's on your property? Is that what you're talking about now, or?
It's not on my property, it's on the borough's property.
Okay, I thought it was on yours, yeah, I don't know.
It's right on the other side of the line.
Yeah,
It's as if they said, okay, this is the property line, dump it here.
yeah, I don't know whose trailer that is, I mean,
I don't either.
yeah. I mean, our focus right now is getting rid of the old generator.
Okay, well, I just wanted to see if maybe there was something that we could do about it. I mean, there's plenty of junk to go around.
Yeah.
Well, we will take care
Yeah,
of.
we're gonna take care of the
we
generator.
we went down there today, we will take care of removing the old generator
Uh-huh.
that's on the trailer.
Yeah, I know, and that's.
Yeah,
on the-
and I did see all the other junk that was out there,
You should have saw it before we
Yeah.
got rid of all of it.
but we cannot promise you we're gonna come out there and clean up the junk that was left
No,
behind.
I'm just making you aware that there is something on your property. I mean, it's gonna go away eventually,
Yeah.
but if I could get any help removing it,
No, we will move the generator, we're working on getting that generator removed.
okay, but it is on your property, that extra trailer is.
Okay,
on your
we'll take another look at it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Probably Jim's.
Appalachian Trail parking lot.
You had that as a motion, did you wanna?
Oh, I'm sorry, Derek, we wanna make a motion
Yeah,
to.
let's make a motion to, remove the generator in due time. Cause there's gotta be some work done to the generator in terms of, it's not a standard hitch that's gonna hook up to a truck. Harry thinks he has the adapter for it, so there's a couple of things we gotta do.
Okay.
And then once we pull it out of there, we might make sure the tires are intact. They look intact right now, but the last time that was moved was, God knows, 15 years ago.
So are you making a motion?
I'll make a motion that we initiate the process to remove the generator to take it to Alpha's recycling center.
Any second? Second, by Ian? Yep. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. Now we'll discuss the Appalachian Trail parking lot. Councilmember Foster.
Yeah, I've lived here for quite some time, and every time there's been a snowstorm, I've noticed that the, parking lot for the Appalachian Trail, which is on Park Service property, would be plowed. Never really paid attention to who was plowing it, but I don't think the Park Service has been plowing it. Is that correct? No.
I think the park, Calvin, you can probably comment.
Yeah, cause I never knew whose kind of responsibility it was. I know I'm responsible for clearing the road in and out and in front of the gate. Just cause I've been there, I've been doing the parking lot, but then I was told that that's Park Service responsibility, so.
That's Park Service property.
It's
Yeah.
Park Service property. Also, it's rough on the truck to even go through that lot.
Yeah, it's gravel, so yeah, it's hard on it, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I don't think it's a good idea for us to take up maintaining the property of the Park Service, liability wise. We start, it's like we're taking ownership of maintenance of it, and it's not ours to do. And not to mention the hardship on the truck, which we're trying to replace now.
Do you think that the Park Service could come back and just put up barricades like they do on River Road
We could
and just
contact,
close it?
we could contact them for that.
Which I think would be a mistake.
Ian, I can give you the contact name of the guy in the Park Service that's in charge of maintenance of roads. He is the one I contacted concerning the trees. But the parking lot is Park Service property. And right when you go through the gate, on the left-hand side, that area where all the trees got flooded out, that's all Park Service. When I contacted them concerning, it was a safety issue concerning the trees over the trail, they were pretty responsive, they came out. So I can send to you his information, but.
It's a safety issue there, was after the snow had melted and it was just an absolute sheet of ice. It's definitely a public safety issue over there.
Right,
And I guess the Park Service would be responsible for that, but if we're maintaining the road going around, I think there's various shades of gray in there that should probably be.
When we maintain the road, it's the lake road
That's
that
Lake
we're
Drive.
maintaining, right?
Right.
Right.
Not the parking lot for the Park Service property.
No, we never maintain the parking lot.
No.
So just.
No, I've been
go up
watching
to
people
the
get stuck
parking lot.
over there for 45 years.
So I think that's a good contact, Derek, if you could make sure you get the information to talk to them about that and come to a solution for that.
Yep.
Thank you both. Regarding the March 18th work session, I will be away. I'm gonna leave it up to other council members to determine if they have any reason to have that meeting. And also keep in mind that there's a motion on the agenda to have a special meeting. So if there's no emergency reason to have that March 18th meeting, then we can cancel it. But if you all have something that you need to talk about, then please let us know.
What was the date?
March 18th, that's the normal work session meeting date. I will be away. If you all have some reason that you want something pressing that you need to discuss then, but then you also remember that we have a motion on agenda for a special meeting. Before that, it would be before that date. So I won't cancel it until I hear for sure that you all have no desire to have that 18th meeting. Did that make sense? Or did I talk in circles?
Yeah, no, you made sense.
Gotcha.
What did you say?
Okay, pick up the Poconos. Is that you, Mayor?
That's me. So ever since I came on board, they've contacted me and asked me to, I've basically been their contact for picking up the Poconos. So many of the people in this room have helped out and volunteered for that. It's usually done twice a year, and what we do is we walk around our borough and we take care of picking up garbage and anything that's been laying around. And then afterwards, I try to buy ice cream for everybody at Sue's place, but she never lets me pay, no matter how much I fuss. Either, at the end of the day, we meet down there and have a little ice cream and kind of hang out. So That's April 20th, from 9 to 12:30, or 9:30 to 12:30. It would be great to have a bunch of volunteers. The last batch we had was a pretty good sized batch of volunteers, and we take those names and we send them to them, and they give us,
The kits.
the kits,
With
their,
the grabbers.
yeah, the grabbers and gloves.
Yeah, I'll need
and-
at least an idea of a count, cause I
Yeah.
usually go pick them up.
Yeah, so we would have those on hand for them, cause I don't recommend picking up anything out there bare.
No.
Oh, I
We've
do.
seen some.
I pick them up there, yeah.
We did find $1, I think, last year, which was cool. I think it ended up in the pizza. Girls. But anyway, so it's April 20th, so please put that on your calendar. Just let Allison know. We'll start a list of names, and it's usually a pretty good time, and we just kind of hit the town, clean it up. It only takes a couple hours, and we finish up at the bakery and have a little ice cream or something like that. So, yeah, we'll meet here at 9:30 sharp.
And reach out to Tika, because she and her friend came last year and they wanted to be reminded.
Yep, I'll talk to them.
Okay. If that's it, we'll go on to old business. Fireworks ordinance, do we have anything for that yet?
I have a draft based on the comments that you gave me, Lisa, so I can forward that to council.
Okay, thank you. Electronic speed signs, this is where we can make the motion to move forward and purchase the speed signs. Do I hear a motion to purchase the electronic speed limit signs?
I'll make a
We
motion.
got the ARLS grant for that, so now is the time for us to actually make the purchase of after we've gotten the permits. We've got the permits now.
Motion to, pay for the
The
new
purchase.
speed limit signs?
I'll second it.
Okay. Motion made and second by Councilman Ike.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Fantastic.
Callum, we'll get together. I think we'll probably be the ones for putting them up, speed limit signs, so.
Where'd they
Dave,
go?
you're free. Huh?
Where'd they go?
So there's 3 of them. One is gonna be up here, just past the Deer Head Inn, on the speed limit sign as you come into town. The other one is at the top of the hill when you come into town from 611. And the last one is out on Broad Street. So when we had talked about this, we wanted to make sure that we're covering all the entrances to town, because they slow down quite, drastically, especially coming this way and getting off the highway. So we really need to slow people down. We've done many things. We painted the road. If you see as you come down Broad Street, it says 35 or 25. And these things, we've discovered that they're very effective in slowing people down, because it flashes your speed at you and it makes you aware, like, oh, okay, and you can sit there when those things are going and actually watch people slow down. So
I agree.
it was something that didn't cost really anything other than some time by Lisa and Missy, and thank you very much for making that grant a success for us. So we'll get those up and hopefully it'll slow people down, so.
Mayor, would it be a good idea also if we can put that old cruiser over, so when they're coming to slow down, they actually think there's a cop there
Yeah,
again?
we're gonna start moving that around
Yeah.
again this summer.
Cause that was very effective.
Yeah, and we used it on the detour when.
I even slowed down, and I know there's no one in there.
So, yeah, that's certainly something we can use. That car's really good for that.
When you're not lost, right?
Exactly.
So hopefully with those things, and then maybe we can get some qualified applicants in here, so we have some more police coverage, but, those are all things that would help slow people down, hopefully. Broad and Main are big problems here, so.
Thank you so much. And on another pleasant note, the Pocono, Business Bureau beautification grant was submitted. Thank you, Allison, for all your hard work on that. And according to the agenda, the borough will be notified by March 31st. And that is the grant to replace the flower boxes around the building. And again, the beautification fund is funded by donations, but this grant would allow for half of it to be paid for by the grant, and then we wouldn't have to spend all the other money that's been donated. So thank you very much. Stormwater management ordinance, is there any news on that?
Nope.
Okay, we'll move on. Cherry Valley Road Water Line Project, anything to report?
I sent I sent that letter to you all at the end of last week that we're gonna send certified constable to the 3 remaining homeowners who have not signed the easement, giving them just a 2-week kind of period, and then moving forward with, what we need to do for the takings.
Okay, thank you. Borough Hall generator, is there anything to report on that? No? Okay. Now, we're moving on to the,
Real quick, just before we get to that, I know there's an executive session here, and can I just say something real quick in case it doesn't necessarily need to go to executive session? My understanding is that, bankruptcy wipes out any pre-bankruptcy debt, not post-bankruptcy debt. So debt that was existing as of the time of filing, not debt that's accrued after the filing. You can't collect it until after the bankruptcy is done, but if it accrued after filing, then it's still good. I do have a call into the attorney who represented the homeowner who had filed for bankruptcy that I think there's a question about, and I'm waiting for a call from him back, to clarify, just to make sure, I know him, and just to make sure that I'm understanding it properly.
So I have some follow-up questions on that. Could we talk,
Yep.
should we talk about executive session?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, great.
okay, so we.
Or if all council, if there has to be action taken, if all council needs to talk about it, then yes, we should talk about it. If you and I can talk about it, and there's not anything specific action needs to be taken, then
Yeah, I guess
just a
whether
matter
or
of
not
folks wanna
actually,
hang around.
yeah,
We
just
need to
have
have executive
questions,
session.
okay.
So you think we need to do the executive session?
Depends if everyone needs to hear.
Find out what's
Yeah,
on Derek's mind.
No, I don't know anything about it, so I have
Okay.
general questions based on what I gather.
just heard.
Okay.
should
Okay.
determine if we have to take action or not.
All right, thank you both. Okay, now, moving on to the firehouse renovations and the grant. Last month, we opened an engineering bid, the envelopes for that. And it was kind of confusing, one, because it was not a consistency with it. So what I want to do is I made a presentation regarding the firehouse grants. There are 2 of them. And the reason I'm doing this and doing this informational presentation is because, did you pull it out?
Yep.
It's on, it's
There
on,
it is.
it's on.
It's still on, Alice, yeah.
Okay, good, thank you. Technical
I need
difficulties
to
here.
bring everyone up to speed as to where we are, how we got here, and what this means for the borough. And this is to bring not only the new council members up to speed, but also the old council members, because this has not been on our agenda. There's actions that have been taken that we didn't know about. I think everyone has heard at some point that the fire department received 2 grants to do renovations to the firehouse. We heard that for a while, for like a couple of years. What we did not hear is that 2 grants were awarded to the borough in the borough's name on behalf of the fire company. So the grants are in our name, which means that for quite some time, we should have been working on not only the grant request, we should have been working with the, with everything, because we are on the hook for this. Those 2 grants were awarded to the borough. As of today, none of us has actually seen the grant applications. We've never seen the grant applications. It wasn't handled by us, which it should have been. So in order for you all to understand, and I'm gonna ask you to allow me to get through this presentation with no comment, let me get through it, and when I'm finished with the presentation, I'm gonna ask for comments from council and the mayor. So I will not be receiving any comments from the audience. This is a total informational presentation to show you exactly what we know. There's no extras. I have no additional answers. And the reason we have to do this is because we have to take action on these grants. But we cannot take votes, take action, contract anyone without any of us knowing how we got to here and what we're responsible for. It's very important that we manage it properly for the benefit of the firehouse renovations, that we do not harm the borough, and that it is not detrimental to us that we never get another grant again if it is mishandled. So this is very important that everyone is aware of what has happened and what the importance of our next actions are. To begin with, on the first slide, August 2021, Council passed a motion to support the Delaware Water Gap Fire Department's LSA grant application, and we did that via a resolution. Now, I cannot say what other people understood, but I understood when we were asked to support, it was in the same manner that I asked you to write letters to support a grant that I'm applying for. That was not the case. So September 2021, the fire department chief asked and received letters of support for the LSA application, and all reporting on this grant in the last 2 years, the only reporting has come via the fire department report. It has never been on our agenda, except for that one time to do the resolution for the one grant, for the first grant. October 2021, Delaware Water Gap Fire Department submitted the LSA grant application and reported that during the fire department report. Next slide, please. December of 2021, the council informed that the fire department application had moved to the next stage. Again, we hear the fire department report, wonderful, your grant has moved to the next stage. June 2022, not quite a year later, the LSA grant was awarded to the Delaware Water Gap Fire Department via the Borough of Delaware Water Gap. Council was not informed at that time that the award was to the borough. We were told that the fire department received a grant, and that was a $200,000 grant. In July 2023, well, let me back up. During one of those reports, it was also announced to us that the fire department was applying for a second grant because they didn't get as much as they wanted with the first grant. So they got a $200,000 grant. They applied and received a $150,000 grant. So now there's two grants. What is important to understand about that second grant is that the council never voted or passed a resolution for that grant. So we have two grants now in our name. At this point, we still don't realize it's in the name of the borough, both of those grants. We've never seen the grants application. July 2023, Senator Rosemary Brown, after the grant, first one had set for almost a year, she came to the borough and met with the former council president, the fire chief, and our borough manager was present at that meeting, which is how I came to realize myself that we were responsible for managing the grant. That was how I understood it. And I can only speak from my understanding. But I do know that I've gone through 2.5 years of agendas, and it was never put on the agenda to discuss with council members their responsibility for these two grants. Next slide. What's my next slide? In January 2023, and this date is very significant. January 2023, the former president of council wrote a letter to the LSA Awards Board on Delaware Water Gap letterhead asking that $20,000 of the $200,000 grant could be used for engineering costs. again, that letter was not brought before council and it was not on our agenda.
Surprise,
The
surprise.
significance of that is that that letter that went out on our letterhead would give the impression to the awarding board that we were acting on that $200,000 grant. But council was not brought into that. We did not know about that letter. The other significance of that date is in January 2023. Tammy,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I need our borough manager to hear
I'm sorry,
all the
sorry,
meetings, please.
Sorry.
January 2023 is the very month when we began to get hammered for $20,000 for the fire department's air packs. The whole entire year, that was on the agenda, but these two grants were not on our agenda. January 2023, we were starting to get asked for the $20,000 for the air packs. So from August 2021 through July 2023, we had nothing on the agenda about these two grants. They were somewhere in there, they were awarded the second grant. The issue of the grant planning was not included in any of the meetings, so we haven't seen the application, what was going on, what the idea was for how, what they said they wanted to do to get the grants. And that brings us to August 2023. There was a motion, did I get that wrong? Yeah, motion to advertise the engineering bid. Next slide. So what everyone on council needs to understand, that from October 2021 was the first submission for a grant. 2 years and 6 months, no formal discussion of the borough's role and responsibility to the award of the grant project. And then last month, February 2024, we opened our first engineering bid for these two grants. I also have to make a point that the second grant, the $150,000 grant, can only be used for the second phase, and none of that money can be used for engineering. So now, I put up this word guesstimation, which probably isn't really a word, but I'm gonna give you what I think we're looking at right now, because when we make the motion to have the special meeting, council needs to know or come up with an idea of what to do next, and we also need to allow the fire department time to gather up the information that we will need at that special meeting in order to devise a plan forward. So there was a estimate of what they wanted, the wish list more or less. It wasn't a detailed construction plan. It was a wish list of things that they wanted. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. I'm only gonna talk about phase 1 and 2 because that's what they got grants for. Phase 1, they estimated the cost at $230,000, and that was not with detail, that was kind of a wish list. There was a $200,000 award. The letter that was sent by our former president amended it so they can use $20,000 of that for engineering. That leaves only $180,000 available for construction in phase 1. The lowest number I've seen thus far, which we will have to redo a bid again, was approximately $58,000. So if you take that $20,000 that you can use out of that grant, that means the fire department needs to show us at a minimum $38,000 if we were hypothetically going with that bid. Also, I need council to think about, given the $180,000 that they would have to spend from that first grant for construction for phase 1, what they would ask for contingency that would be put into escrow. Because not only do we need because apparently there was no engineering costs factored into the initial request. Now, and then it went back and there was a letter that asked for $20,000 to be used from the $200,000. The $150,000 second grant can only be used for phase 2 as it was described in their request. None of that can be used for engineering. So if we only start with phase 1, and think about that, you've got $20,000 out of that $200,000 grant that can be used for engineering, and $180,000 left for construction. I need council to think about what they would be comfortable with the fire department showing them that they can do financially. What they need to bring to the table when we have the special meeting. What we also need to understand that these 2 grants are in the name of the borough. We have to deal with this. We have to be prudent. We have to make sure that we're not caught up or contracting anyone that cannot be paid for. And we have to manage it within a certain time frame because it's been sitting for 2 years and there's a deadline on using these grants and finishing the project. Whatever we do will affect the Borough of Delaware Water Gap's ability to obtain a grant in the future.
Way to go, Chris.
I did this presentation because everyone had no idea about the progression of this situation. We have to act on it, and I needed you to think about it and work on this with the full information before you. So now I'm going to go down the line to council members and the mayor, and I'm gonna start with Mr. Buzzard and give us your thoughts, because what we want to do is after they've given a comment, make a motion, possibly set a date for the special meeting, and have items that you want the fire department to bring, even if they bring their treasurer, would probably be really good, determine what we can do within the boundaries.
My only comment is that here we have to make sure that we do our job to grind in the various charges that we're gonna incur. Because what we can't have is a situation that we've had in the past where, oops, we forgot to put this in, oops, we have to put that in, and so on and so forth. So it's just going to be, there is no safe route out of this except for being very realistic and making sure we have enough money to do it. If we don't have enough money to do it, then we need to give the paperwork back to them.
Thank you. Councilmember McWilliams.
More of a question, has any of this been bid yet?
They asked that we have an engineering bid, and we did advertise, and it was very vague because the actual construction plans are very vague, so we need, and that was done, no, we first have to get engineering plans, and then we have to look at what the wish list was, realistically with $180,000, and whatever funds they have, how much of that we're gonna even, when we redo a engineer's bid, what we're asking them to work on. I think phase 3, in my mind, forget it. Let's find a bid that can accommodate phase 1, maybe phase 2, with whatever funds they have available to do that. So we need to really look at that, look at what they're asking for, and look at what funds they have available to accommodate it. Okay, sir, Mr. Foster.
That would be my concern, knowing what phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 are, and, you know, what's supposed to be built out from the different phases. You know, we need that information before we can move forward.
We have a copy of the SRS construction estimate that said it would be $230,000, but if you go back and look at that, I think it was on last month, we can get a copy of that. It's very vague. Commercial style kitchen, electrical. No specifics as to exactly what has to be done. We're going to have to get down into exactly what can be done before you even ask the engineer to write up the plans to do it, because that's what their money and their bidding is gonna be based on, how much work there is. So we need to look at that.
That's what we have to do at work.
Sir?
Yeah, it's it seems like we need a construction plan in order to evaluate if the money is available to go ahead. And I understand that if the borough is fiscally responsible for managing the money, they have to be the responsible parent and say, this bid will work, or this bid won't work, or the money, the contingency money is available, you know, in escrow or something like that for overruns, those kind of things. So before you can award anything, you have to have a plan. You
So
have to
we
have a
will
plan,
have to work on
a construction
that.
plan, yeah.
And this is why I brought this information to you, so you understand what is needed to continue on. Let's go on that end, Derek.
So the way I understand it, so phase one, $200,000 was awarded, 20,000 is allocated for engineering. We're shy in the engineering side by about $38,000.
If we went with what we saw with that
Right,
last.
and that was our low bid, right.
Yeah,
So.
but we gotta redo all that.
Right, so with the current numbers, 180, well, 20 from the 200 goes to construction. That's 180 plus we received another 150 in phase two, so that gives us 330.
No, you
No.
can't add them together, because
Cannot.
phase one money can only go for phase one. Only 20,000 can be used for engineering.
Right.
Phase two can only be used for phase two, none of it can go for engineering.
So that 58,000 in the initial bid, was that just for phase one or phase two?
That was for engineering work
For
on
all
all
three
the phases.
All the phases, yeah, so sounds like we're shy to accommodate, or to,
38,000.
you know, hit, or to complete phase one and phase two, we're shy 38,000 from an engineering standpoint.
And I think that may change, because we're gonna
It
have to
might change,
redo the
right.
engineering bid. And not only that, we're gonna have to get down into the weeds as to what, you know, rationally, what could be done with $180,000, what you're even asking the engineers to work on.
Right,
And that may lower the.
It may lower the engineering bid, but we have to give them, we have to have a more specific bidding, request.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at the numbers here, that's sort of, in my mind, it's, if we're shy of $38,000 in engineering, either we rebid the engineering portion of it, or,
The project's gonna have to be modified
Yeah.
with $180,000. I mean, cause if you're gonna spend $60,000 for engineering just to get to phase one,
right, it looks like with phase one and phase two, the entire engineering, or the entire construction phase of the project is gonna come in at 330, and engineering will come in at 58, of which 20 is already allocated towards.
Mhm.
So, I think there's a lot of questions.
there's a lot of questions and we
Yeah.
have to work on that, but
Right.
you all need to know what it is we're working on.
Don't most grants require that engineering be within a certain percentage of the overall?
Yes, it's usually 15%. But that's what they granted with the letter that was written asking, because I don't think any engineering cost was factored in at all when the grant was requested. And then they went back and asked for $20,000, so that's what we have now.
That's their limit to pay.
That's the
You-
limit.
You could go give them another $100,000 but you have to pay for it.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Councilmember Ike,
I have no comment.
okay. Mayor?
So are we saying that the prior president acted unilaterally without
Again.
informing borough council and left the borough on the hook for this entire project?
Absolutely.
Is that ethical? Is that permissible?
Or legal.
I mean, it's, you know, all of this is hindsight. This whole entire presentation is hindsight. And there's a lot of room to sit and have a discussion on blame. But we need to use our time, wisely. As I said, there's a deadline on these grants. So what we need to do is determine what our next
I get that, Lisa, but I'm flabbergasted. This was not our project, and now it is our project, and now we have to take a lot of time to go through this thing. This is not saying anything about the fire department not needing this, but to not even inform Borough Council that he was going to do this, and then now we're on the hook trying to figure out engineering and this, that, and the other stuff. And now Allison, no wonder Allison's got a ton of work to do, she's gonna be in right in the middle of this stuff.
Well, she's the one that's, yeah, she is the borough manager, this is a lot of work for her.
This is wrong, this is really, really wrong.
Yeah.
And I honestly do not appreciate a borough council person, much less the president, acting unilaterally, making decisions without the council people who were voted into this to represent the people. I just.
He did it for 2
It
years.
just does not sit right with me.
Amen.
I'm sorry.
Well, it makes me, well, concerned for the borough, because I don't want us to get hemmed in and hooked up on anything that we have to financially, be hurt, take a hit for, and I also don't want us to be hurt where we cannot get a grant again. And so if we don't do this right,
Well, you can
in
take
fact,
somebody.
grants that we have applications on now might be hindered by
And
the
this is
city.
a highly competitive grant. I mean, there's a lot of people going out because there's a lot of money involved. And there's a lot of, there's a lot of behind the scenes work. I mean, when these grants come in and people ask me to write letters, I not only write letters, but I make phone calls, I talk to people. And to come to find out, this wasn't done, at least in my eyes, on the up and up. It's just wrong. I just don't, I'm sorry, but anyway, now we're in a pickle. It is our responsibility now. Now we have to figure this thing out. And I appreciate you bringing this to our attention, Lisa. This was,
Do we know the timeline of how much time we have to?
The two grants have a deadline, I think one is 2020.
We can extend the deadline.
We can extend the deadline?
Can be
Okay,
extended.
so we can come up with a plan, we can work on that. So what I would like is a motion.
Maybe they need
I
a
said,
$1
my only
store.
comment with the motion, with the special meeting, is that, I mean, you can say that you're gonna set a date for a special meeting and advertise it, but I think that date should be in conversation with the fire department, because you're gonna want representatives
The
who are
treasurer.
not here
The
tonight
treasurer.
to be present at that meeting. If you set a date, if you all are like, oh, this is a great date for us, and they say, well, it's not a great date for us, well, then you're getting nowhere at that meeting.
Well, here's the problem, is that I'm gonna be gone for the week of the 18th on. And,
Forever?
no. No. I will come back. If I have too much fun, I might not. But I was hoping, because if we're canceling the work session, I was hoping to set the date of the 13th or 14th to advertise it. And, so that we can get on with coming up with some sort of plan here. So.
I would
let's-
need to know by the end of the week. I think it's like 3 or so days to be able to advertise now.
So if you do it end of the week, that would give enough time to advertise it.
Yeah. I'm just
And we
double
wanna have it
checking.
at 6 o'clock if we can, on the 13th or the 14th.
You say the end of the week, Thursday, Friday,
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
It's Wednesday, Thursday.
because it's Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah, I'm double checking with Todd. I think
Okay.
it used to be
13th is
that we
Wednesday.
could flip it to somebody we knew, like the day before and get it in, but now they're a little more particular.
Said
3.
13th or 14th.
13th or 14th at 6 o'clock.
I'm sure it means maybe we'll be able to make it. I'll have to check with Jim Flower.
Yes, please do. And then as
Yeah,
soon as you
okay,
can
well.
tell us he's going to be there, then we can set that date, get it advertised.
Do you want me to give Jim a date call tomorrow?
Yeah, if you want, yeah,
Yeah,
that'd
Could
probably
you
be
please?
better.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'd appreciate that.
And then,
And we'll let Smitty know.
so we can make this motion, no? To authorize,
To authorize the solicitor to advertise a special meeting at a date to be confirmed with council prior to advertising.
okay. Who's gonna make that motion?
How'd that sound?
Good.
You can assign that motion to me.
All right, go ahead, you know how to do this.
Thank you.
I can second.
He
it.
moves whatever she says.
Keep it in the neighborhood.
And Mr. Buzzard second. All in favor?
Aye.
Is there any opposed? Okay, motion passed. Committee reports. Any committee reports, water, budget has no report at this time.
Tim?
Founder's Day has been set for June 29th. I've been in contact with Steamtown, I'm not sure if we're gonna train, but they have the date. We're working on, of course, trying to get the craft show, more stuff around town and everything like that, so. But the date is June 29th.
And the tricky tray.
There will be a tricky tray as well, to try to raise money for the cemetery.
The tricky trade, if I can interrupt,
Yeah.
is gonna be quite interesting because we're receiving donations from outside.
Oh,
The Sakis up
Mhm.
there today and picked up gift certificates from the Sakis. They heard about it and contacted me.
And we have some massage therapists from Stroudsburg. I'm hitting everywhere to get
Yeah,
donations.
Trying to get a lot of different things.
So
We're gonna try to do it inside if we can, cause last year with the rain, it kinda put
yeah.
a little damper on it, but we'll see what we can do if we use
Yeah.
the castle. We'll just go from there. I know the church is, well, might know this, but the church is working on, a bake sale again, I think.
I don't know, possibly,
Yeah,
probably.
Possibly, yeah, that.
Where do the funds go? Like you said, tricky tray, like what are the?
Oh, Trick or Treat's gonna go to the Cemetery Association.
Tree removal.
Retreat, yeah. But, so far, we had one meeting so far, and we're kinda just in the planning stages, but I've been making a lot of phone calls and emails.
Thank
So,
you.
we're working,
Thank you for all your work, everybody's working on that.
pretty well.
I'll have to get together when we get closer about the liability policy for the stuff like you do every year. So
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
okay. Any other committee reports? No? Fantastic. If not, we will, end the meeting and go into executive session.
It's public comments.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm
No,
so.
I did it, I had them switched, I'm sorry.
Okay.
My fault. My
Public
bad.
comments for
all your
anything
fault.
that's not
All
on the
your fault.
agenda.
Come on, Lisa, you know we're just gonna get comments.
Does Mr. Snow have anything else to talk about that's not on the
Not
agenda?
about the fire company, cause it's gonna be one of the grants, cause it's.
Okay,
gonna be-
Oh, I know, let's talk about the fire department.
Jamie's not on the agenda.
Only what's not on
Just
the
saying.
agenda.
Yeah, the war dog ceremony is this
Oh.
Sunday from 1 to 3. Now, it looks like the weather keeps going back and forth. I think it's rain or shine, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think so,
Yeah.
yeah, it's rain or shine.
And that's
at the- that's
at the cemetery.
Yeah.
And we'll put something on the 7th.
1 o'clock?
1 to 3.
1 to 3.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question about, the jazz festival or festivities like that in the summertime, using the stage and.
Oh, the Coda Festival?
Yeah,
Pardon?
is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's Celebration of the Arts. Yes.
Okay, so
And
that's,
usually in September, there's a committee that manages and conducts that, does celebration.
is there anything in the summertime?
Well, we're working on, Founder's Day.
It's in June.
That's in June 29th is what I was just talking about. And we have a yard sale scheduled for May something, I forget what day is it, but May, it's
And
a
we
weekend, and then we're
have-
trying to
we
work
have a
on,
Upbeat Economic Development,
Yeah. so there's a
group
bunch of stuff going on.
committee that's working on different things that will be posted as they work on it.
There was,
There's music down there every Sunday night, if that's what you're talking about.
Where?
Right here?
Oh, you're talking about at the church,
Yeah.
at the gazebo?
Yeah,
Right.
gazebo. Oh, that's.
Is that what you're asking, or?
no,
Oh.
I mean, the amphitheater there, the stage.
Mhm.
Is that something that is open?
No, it belongs to Coda, it's their stage, and it actually sits on the property of the person that owns the castle. So no, it's not open for just usage in that way.
Okay.
Now, the park across from it, the hill, is the borough's property, the William M. Buzzard Celebration Park, named after our council member, Mr. Buzzard. That can be used with park permits. So. Anything else, anyone?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
This March 30th, there will be an Easter egg hunt. The fire department has joined with the church. We will not be doing a pancake breakfast this year, but we will be joining with the church on the Easter egg hunt. March 30th at 10 a.m. at the church.
Thank you.
And flyers, we will be handing out flyers and putting up flyers.
Do you think you guys will be helping, or doing something for Founder's Day again, or you wanna talk about that? I mean, at your meeting?
Yeah, we'll probably do the pancake breakfast,
Okay.
and you can count on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
If nothing else.
10 o'clock, did you
Yes.
say, Howard?
This is for Deb.
8 to,
What,
oh, with
No.
church? Yeah, 10 a.m.
I have to follow up for, Marshall. What's the status
I
on the?
did get the judgment to file. I was at the MDJ's office for something else and asked for a certified copy of it, because when I sent a letter before, I never got the certified copy, and I got it immediately, and so I just have to file it. And then I'm gonna file for a petition for, to get a fine imposed, which could be quite high, which might be something to help motivate getting it done.
And, all right, so you get a judgment from.
We got a judgment
Judge
from
Germano
Judge
first,
Germano, yes. And then,
but he doesn't enforce it.
no, so the judgment at that time was for $1,000 and then a $500 a day continuing fine.
Yeah.
And so, but then to take any further action on it, it has to be transferred to the Court of Common Pleas.
Okay.
And so, but you need a certified copy of the MDJ judgment, and I sent a letter to Judge Germano requesting that, and was ignored for several months. Did not get it before he left office.
Huh. I'll go talk to him.
But you got it.
But I went for something else at that office and requested a copy, and I got it, and it will be filed, and then we will ask for a hearing to impose a fine.
Okay. I'm sure Marshall would be happy to hear that.
So, yes. We had done that in response to it, but it was held up. I mean, I did request it, I did send the letter, it just,
For those of us that are new here, could we have a brief explanation?
there's a house, a property up
Kimberly.
Shepherd Court.
Shepherd Court that got a building permit, to build a house, right? And she put up a temporary structure, which was like a yurt-like structure, and then also had construction materials. And then the building permits were revoked because they didn't do anything within a certain period of time, and then she didn't clean it up. And so we went to the MDJ to enforce the termination of the building permits and to clean up the materials, and she still has not.
I just had a question from a neighbor on what was going on.
That's it, and so it's trying to now take it to maybe bringing its head again, might maybe force her to get something. There was some talk at some period of time that she was getting a new contractor and such, but that has never happened, so.
Well, if nothing else, could I get a motion to adjourn
Thank you,
to
Deb.
executive session?
Motion to adjourn to executive session.
All right. Thank you very much, my residents, our newer residents. How long have you been there?
I just.
Are they going to vote?
Oh.
They're gonna vote on anything. Ask Deb about that. Are they gonna vote on anything?
Great.
Yeah, so,
I don't think so.
it was a year.
Yeah.
before we
And
had
if
to
anything, it's just
move
about
in.
the bankruptcy.
You thought about that last time?
Water thing.
I went